So one of the worst things about the application process is the waiting game. And the waiting game takes a couple forms. One of them is just pointless stuff that you have to go to keep up appearances. So, I mean, I had to go to an orientation recently, which I've done tons of footage of. Or no, I've done small amounts of footage of. I've done little, like... Okay. So, the orientation starts at 9:30 in the morning on a Saturday, which in college is not fun at all, and goes until 1 p.m. So you're there for 4 hours. And they don't really say anything of it. Well, I'll let them speak for themselves right here.
You're ambassadors of, first of all, yourselves. You're representing yourself. You're representing your family. You're representing the United States. And you're also representing Boston College. All of you have gone through some type of vetting process to be able to be eligible to study abroad. Had to have a certain grade point average to do that. But you also had to have a social history, or disciplinary record, if you will, that passes muster with the university. There are students every year who are not eligible to study abroad because of some of the behavior they've exhibited here at Boston College. Why is that? Because we see them as ambassadors and representatives of Boston College. Please respect the culture and the customs of the country you're in. When I say that, I'm talking about things like dressing appropriately when you're going into churches. I mean, in some of the countries you will discover that you won't be able to go into churches if you have shorts on, or if you have sleeveless tops on. So please respect the cultures that you're going to be in. Don't be the prototypical ugly American. Please try to avoid that. I'd also ask you to think about your behavior when you're abroad. And our expectation is that you will behave in a way that will make the university...
Your specific certificate number. If you give us the number, your specific certificate number to your parents prior to your departure, as soon as you have your ID card, they will be able to go on to HTH. But make sure, if you want your parents to have this information, that you do indeed give it to them, because we will not be able to give it to them if they call our office. And that's for security reasons and whatnot. That's HTH's policy. We can't give it to them, but you can. So please make sure.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Wendy Langelier, and I'm the Office of Student Services, specifically the financial aid team. Over the years, in the last few years anyway, the financial aid team has collected a group of most commonly asked questions in regard.
The line sanctuary, you get to actually walk and interact with the lines, like you get to pet them, and like they're like pretty much wild lines, just like more tame, I guess. They've been taking them from, they've been taking them from the wild, but it was like one of the coolest experiences. And I mean, the opportunity of the Boston Globe is really cool because you get published in the paper. It's like I have copies of it for, you know, like my kids, my grandkids want to hold it, and my mom really likes it too. But it was really cool because you just get to kind of like, you know, write about your experience and like, you know, right now, when people actually respond, like the Sunday Boston Globe, where it was published, is like so big and packed, and like, I had so many emails about it, and like, if I see someone, like, even like when I was teaching in my old high school, and they'd be like, oh, it's not even the Globe, like, it's awesome. It's like a really just great opportunity to kind of like get just like your word out there, your experience, and just kind of share with other people. So, I mean, if they have they will. You have to try to, it's like just a great way to kind of, you know, get your story out there. It really was awesome.
If you already understand that, there's going to be an email coming sometime in September or October, and just check in with the contact person and submit your story. And I know it's closer to 1. I just want to give Justin Siegel, who's one of our advising assistants at OIT, the opportunity to say a few words about stereotypes, very briefly. And Joanne Zhang, who studies abroad in Beijing, at College where you join in, and just highlighting that for you.
They do make some good points in the orientation. And although it didn't help me, they do outline things. Like, you do need to have a respectable GPA. For us, it's 3.2. And you also need to have a disciplinary record that is not spotless, but not full of spots either. And they also talk about the medical, like being the age of an adult, you have control of your own medical information. So in order for your parents to be privy to that information, to know that information, you have to fill out the paperwork yourself. It's you that fills that out. And a funny note, at least for my school, there's a big discrepancy in where people are going in Asia. For Japan next year there are 2. There's me going to Waseda, and my friend from my Japanese class who's going to Sofia, or Jochi. And that's not the same. Now, there's like 20 people going to Beijing next year, and maybe it's because there's only 2 of us going to Japan, but it kind of seemed like the Chinese students were getting total preference over us. Like, there was the on-site coordinator from Beijing had flown in to talk with them, and everyone was just like palling around, and like numerous people who had gone there before were just talking with them, like, oh, this is how it is. And for people going to Japan, it was me, and it was my friend, and it was just the 2 of us sitting at the back of that auditorium, just talking. And we already know each other, just talking about nothing. Like, absolutely no help to me. So, things like that. That brings up a great point, though. And I'll probably cover this in another video. But you have to really be responsible for yourself, depending on the resources that are around you. Like, Hubby House has some excellent resources. Like our international program, they've got some excellent resources for certain places. Like, I suppose for China, for parts of Europe, like, they're fine. But for Japan, they don't have anything. And they don't even put any effort towards that. And it's just really, like, you need to be on top of your game, especially if you're international programming people. Don't put a lot of effort into it. So, like, you need to research what your application is. You need to research what it's going to be like there. And, like, this right now is considered research. Like, this was research when I was watching these. So, if you're watching it, that's pretty good. I guess you're already doing research. Good for you. Yeah. But, yeah, this is basically just the day-to-day tedium of keeping this in track. And you have to make sure that you don't, like, let it slip either. I let it slip at a period, and it was bad. But you got to make sure it doesn't slip. Now, the other side of the waiting game, which is so much worse than the orientation, is waiting for scholarships and waiting for applications to get back to you. It is, what is it today? April 25, April 26th, and I haven't gotten back major scholarship, like, I haven't gotten back any information from the Boren or stuff like that, and I haven't even been accepted to the Waseda program yet. Everyone who I talk to in my school tells me that there's no way they can reject me. Like, they will absolutely accept me if my school allows me to go, which they already have. So it puts you in, like, a gray area of assuming that you're going to go, like, assuming everything's fine, but, like, absolutely no confirmation. And if you are going to go through this process, I feel like you will have a similar 2 months of, for me, it's kind of scary, because so many things have gone wrong already, and Hubby House, the infamous Hubby House that you'll soon know, they've messed a lot of stuff up for me. So hopefully you don't have that big a problem as I have. But the waiting game is one of the worst parts. And it's so annoying. And I'm catching up on reading right now. Here's my reading. Conscience and Truth. His Eminence Joseph Cardinal Ratzinger. Life of a Philosophy Major. Till next time.
Take advantage of those kinds of services from the Office of International Programs, the folks that are on the ground in the country that you're visiting, and also, if necessary, certainly from the folks here at Boston College. Have a safe and great experience. Thank you.